Welcome. Hold on, that's weird. Hold on. Hold on. One, two. Welcome, welcome. Okay. Sorry. Still getting used to the setup. I can't move the thing any further back, so my mic's like right next to my face as I'm talking. So it sounds a little weird to me. I don't know if it sounds weird to you guys. Hopefully it doesn't. But welcome. Welcome to Story Rebuild Part 3. We are going to be rebuilding, reworking, and generally changing up a character and adding some additional details and so forth to said character because she needs some TLC. Welcome, 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 welcome. Oh, really? I know you too. Yes, we're going to be working and reworking the character Alicia for our story and story rebuild. Because again, I want to make it sound more natural for her. It kind of feels unnatural for her, well, connection to the group. We're going to keep like everything else. You know, the age, and we're going to keep the age, we're going to keep all the details, but the backstory and stuff like that, we are going to be changing to basically help fit the narrative. Because, you know, Zero wakes up from cryo sleep. Bear's the one that saves Zero because he's trying to get his ship back that was stolen from him on a smuggled space station that Zero somehow winds up on. We don't know how Zero winds up on the space station, but Zero is there in the cryo tube. Bear, you know, comes in and saves them, and then probably what does that even mean? And then basically, you know, they flee the space station. They head to Hilda, because this is what we kind of talked about last time. The connections for each of the characters. They head to Hilda while they're being chased by the smugglers, because the smugglers are assholes, and they're just a greedy little bunch of bitches. They just want their stolen ship back. He ended up on it due to food. That would make sense if they were awake. Considering they were in cryo sleep, it doesn't make sense. But yeah, they escape the smuggler space station, and then, you know, trying to escape, they get in contact with a friend of Bear's, which is Hilda. They, you know, escape to the space station Hilda's on to get some information and yada yada yada. And then it leads them to Yuna and Lulu, who are on the Ouroboros research station, or the ORS, the ORS. You know, we're gonna call it that. So that's the new nickname for that. And you know, it leads them to there, and they come in contact with the Fifth Fleet. So they get a glimpse of Fasha as they're heading towards Yuna and Lulu to trigger their part in the story, which also triggers Selfnir to come into the story. Maybe not exactly when they're going to it, but as they're going through it. So, you know, that's how everybody initially meets. And the only problem is Alicia is the least believable one out of the group in the connection. And also because I feel like I'm trying to shoehorn myself into like a Star Wars trope at that point. So we're going to rework her story, her backstory, and everything else, and bounce off ideas for those who would like to bounce off any of the ideas that you have. Preferably not Proto Bear. And by preferably, I mean not Proto Bear, because he's just going to make jokes the entire time. I know you, Proto Bear. You will not be helpful at all. And I say this because he's my friend, so he knows I'm joking, but at the same time, he knows I'm not joking. Okay. So, for the grand scheme of things, I want to somehow connect I was thinking of connecting Alicia to basically what triggers Yuna and Lulu's involvement, because as it says in Yuna, your team, she just get tangled up in a situation involving the transportation of classified assets. So I was thinking we make Alicia the classified asset, because this shoehorns in everything. It shoehorns in Alicia with a believability that she's, some sort of weapon or project or experiment of some kind. We still have Yuna and Lulu get involved with, the asset, triggering their involvement. And we can also shoehorn in, instead of a routine patrol, the Federation gets a call for the station that they're being attacked by the smugglers, which continues to drive in, Baron Zero. And Hilda, she's kind of not with the group permanently yet, but, she's there. Well, she's not really actually there. It's just Baron Zero in the group. So, just Baron Zero get pointed to the direction of the Ouroboros research station, which triggers the involvement of Yuna and Lulu and introduces us to Alicia, as well as Fasha comes in. And then afterwards of the group's involvement, we can have Selfnir get word to start heading in to try to murder, Zero or Bear or exactly whatever. That can then also bring them back to Hilda, which, solidifies the group and kind of gets the ball rolling to the core plot, which I still haven't figured out yet, but we're getting there. So what we're going to do is we need to come out with a backstory for Alicia, because she's no longer a senator. The Republic is still enemy number one. That has not changed. So the Republic is still assholes. They are the number one enemy in the story. So the key thing we want to do is we want to change Alicia's backstory. We could make her an experimental weapon, is kind of what I want to do. And I say weapon because the connection to the arms is what I would like to do. The arms units, the giant robots in the story. Because I kind of want to go like a slightly similar route to a cross between Evangelion and Outlaw Star. For any of those who know what either of those are, or if you know both, it's easier to explain through both. So we're going to have her as an experimental weapon. Her age, we'll actually make her age unknown. Unknown, but thinks, but estimated at 370 plus. I cannot spell estimated correctly. Really? Estimated. There we go. Estimated 370 plus. So she doesn't know her actual age, but she's estimated to be 370 years old, which is in line for a Vulpin. Because Vulpin and elves have, 1,000-year lifespans. She is an experimental weapon. Now, the backstory part is what's going to be hard, because she's got to have a mind of her own. Because I don't want her to be like a mindless puppet type scenario, because that's just difficult. But I would like to make her handicap in an aspect that she can't speak, because I think that would help. She can't speak physically, but when she's connected to an arm, she's able to talk, is what I would like to do. We're gonna make her unable to speak. Again, it's just one of the things I would like to do for the character to make it not interesting, but to draw forth all the experiments she's had on her for however long they've done the experiment. You know, she probably has damaged vocal cords, or maybe she was never able to speak to begin with. You know, we'll figure that out as we go through it and figure it out. But again, the key thing is the backstory we want to be mysterious, but we want it to lead us to that it's used for something specific and in connection with the arms unit. So that's the key point. We want her to be the classified asset that's being transported from the ORS to wherever, that gets intercepted by Yuna and Lulu by accident, triggers the whole scenario, which triggers the main plot, you know, the current plot for the book. Kind of like a light novel where it has different, you know, it covers, you know what, well, you know what I mean. We'll figure it out. But right now we want to cover the basis of the backstory for the character. So we'll make it, this is going to be a little difficult. Brain juices don't fail me now. So I want it to be not so much an orphan, but someone who was selected. Well, we'll do it like a selection type thing. I just gotta figure out how to word it. I want it to be where she was like chosen at birth or selected at birth randomly. But she wouldn't know that because they're not going to tell her either. So she can't know that. So we can't really we can give that information for myself. I can actually, unbeknownst. Can I not spell beknownst? Or is that even a word? Unbeknown. God damn English words. English is just the worst. Okay. Raised on space station Ouroboros. I cannot spell Ouroboros today. I just had a U in there by accident. Raised on the space station Ouroboros for as long as she can remember. Oh, no, let's change up the sentence structure. For as long as she can remember, she has been raised, not eased, on the space station on the research, because she knows it's a research station. Research station Ouroboros. Her first memory. She knows very little outside of what the doctors and researchers have told her With the one fact being she is the key to what is Zero's goal again? I don't have goals. Shit. Okay. The key to key to I do want to kind of make it like a religious thing, but not so much like a religious thing. Like it sound sorry. I'm using a different keyboard, so if it's not as clicky clacky as my last one. And it's a little different. I gotta actually look down at the keys because they're all small now. They're not really big and you know what I mean. But the one fact that she is a highly valuable test subject. She doesn't even know what she is. She just knows she's some sort of test subject. She lost her voice at a young age due to numerous experiments and was taught sign language as well as how to read and write. Like, you know, they're monsters in the sense of, you know, they're experimenting on this individual, but they need her to understand. So they had to teach her. Like, originally they didn't teach her. But when she lost her voice, she no longer had a way to speak to them, so that they couldn't communicate. And they can't have her dying because she's, again, an exceedingly valuable subject. Her only contact is with select pilots. What did we call? It's called the Armed Special Program, so we need to have a name for it specifically. We need to have a specific name for it. And I can't think of the name off the top of my head. In the special program, what should we call this special program? My head. I have this zit that formed on my ear, like right on the crease of my ear and my where my glasses sit. It's gone down pretty much, but it hurt like a motherfucker. It still kind of hurts. Not anywhere near as bad. But what should the program be called? Let's Google some stuff real quick. Phrases for what should it call? We gotta have some sort of name. It doesn't have to be anything super fancy. Just something that just sounds like project like. Actually, I just lost it. I had it for a second. I had a split second of an idea. Because I don't want to call it the arms program, because that's just, that's the name of the weapons. The name of the vest. That's the name of the machines. Hold on. That's not it. Doop, 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 doop. There's a name for it. I'm trying to think of the name. That is not it. Synchronization. I spelled that wrong. Synchronization project. We're gonna put this in parentheses only because this is just a placeholder name. Actually, we're gonna put it in brackets because I haven't decided on the name and I don't want to go with that. Actually, we'll put synchronization in brackets and we'll put project at the end. And the synchronization project, in which pilot and in which she and the pilot become of one mind and body. Only contact is a synchronization project. During a routine... Am I not allowed to spell these words right? I'm not. I'm not allowed to spell anything right. I am never allowed to spell words correctly. A routine test. Damages. Comes into contact with Lulu. During a test in which usual pilot had to be switched due to unknown reasons. She comes into contact with Lulu. This way it doesn't sound bullshit. Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, hello, hello. We're trying to rework Alicia's backstory for the story because I didn't like the way it was done before. It felt too Star Wars-y. So we're working on Alicia's backstory right now and linking her in with a connection between Yuna and Lulu rather than just being somebody on their own. This meeting is what triggers the during a brief hold on. It's still gonna be with Lulu, but it can't be during a test. It's got to be some other way. Because Lulu is part of the project. Actually, let's change it from project to program. In the synchronization program. Because Lulu is connected to it. She's part of the program. Part of the synchronization. I'm spelling this wrong again. God damn it. Part of the synchronization program. Because again, I don't know if that's the actual name I want to go for the actual thing, but you know, she's in the program that Alicia is part of as the experiment, but she's not a regular of the program. She's like a backup. Her only other contact is with pilots in the synchronization program. She talks to the doctors and, you know, researchers that she experiment on her. But other than that, she doesn't really know anybody. During routine tests, she forms a link with a pilot, forms a connection. The pilot forces It's got to be something something believable that isn't just like random happenstance. Because I want it to sound not like. Hmm. Hmm. During a routine link test, an unknown. Hey, Demos, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're trying to redo Alicia's backstory, and I'm fucking it up. During a routine link test, an unknown connection is made between her and an unidentified. I can spell unidentified correctly, but I can't spell between. And an unidentified entity. An unidentified. We'll say user. We'll put user in parentheses. Actually, we'll put it in brackets as well. Just because we don't know what it is. They don't know what it is. It's an unidentified user. Results in the station getting attacked. No. Station's not attacked. It's not attacked. It's not getting attacked. Which results in the need to transfer her to a new facility. This transfer is what brings her into contact with Zero and the group. Again, it's not perfect. It's definitely not makes much sense. Again, it's just a slight backstory to her character. The voice is passive. In the last two, though? What? I am confused. And she's not going to actually have any weapons because she doesn't fight. Okay. As long as she can remember, she has been raised in the research station Ouroboros. She knows very little outside of what the doctor and researchers have told her. Have told her. This is for my benefit and sanity. With one fact being that she is a highly valuable test subject. She lost her voice at a young age. Due to the numerous experiments and was taught sign language as well as how to read and write. Her only other contact is with select pilots in the synchronization program. During a routine link test, an unknown connection is made between her and an unidentified user, which results in the need to transfer her to a new and more secure facility. This transfer is what brings her in contact with Zero and the group. That makes sense. Ish. Of course, we can flesh it out when we actually start writing the story down. But we're gonna change up some of the characters' details. She's still gonna be tsundere. She's still gonna be generous, but she's gonna be very kind-hearted. But she's also not gonna. She's what's the word for She's not stupid. And she's not aloof. She's what would be the word for something? What is the word for not understanding the world? um, not misguided. She's ignorant. She's ignorant. I can't believe I couldn't remember that. Ignorant of the world, because again, she's been confined to a research station for years. Having no common knowledge. You know what? Oblivious. Oblivious makes more sense than ignorant. Thank you, chat. Because she's not ignorant of the world. She just doesn't know it. She's oblivious of the world. Because, actually not world, universe, because this is a sci-fi with space travel. Yeah, she's oblivious. She doesn't know anything of the world. Universe. I'm going to keep saying world. It's going to drive me nuts when I actually go back one day. Yeah, she's oblivious. She's oblivious of the world and how it works. So she's very kind-hearted. She's very generous. She's hot-headed, but that's only because she can't speak and she gets very annoyed very quickly. But, you know, she's an experimental weapon. Let's see. We may need to change some other things. Again, we changed her gear. She doesn't have any sort of defensive weaponry. In the blurb. Yeah, this is just for me. This isn't like, this is just for me to go back on. This is just a short, simple, what makes sense to me in terms of her backstory. This is like draft number 1 type deal. But yeah, this isn't really meant to be anything more than just an overview. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's just an overview. There's no real, I'm not trying to be super specific, unless there's certain things that, you know, needed to be added that my mind would go insane with. I have been quacked. I have been quacked. A lot of tails. It is. She's got 8 tails. I wanted to go with 9 tails, but I think 8's just sexier. And also she can have 7 tails circling and then like 1 center tail, so it just kind of, I don't know, it's kind of like one of those weird things. Let's see. Tsundere, hot-headed, generous, kind-hearted, and oblivious of the universe. She can't cook, enjoys musical theater, likes to sing. Can't sing because she doesn't have vocal cords anymore, basically. Enjoys music. Likes to read. Because she can't speak, so she can't sing. She can't even hum. Like, again, due to the experiments, she's gone through a ton of stuff. We'll also add as scars, peace scars, has scars as, if I can spell correctly, scars on her body. There's scars from surgeries and, experiments and shit. So, she's got a lot of things going on. And again, she doesn't know how old she is. She just knows the story. Currently the story focuses on Zero, the protagonist who wakes up from cryo sleep 600 years after they were put in there during an incident. They wake up being saved by Bear, who becomes the best friend as he's trying to... The overarching plan, I don't have the full story, but this is what we have so far. Zero, cryo sleep, wakes up 600 years later by Bear, who's trying to get back his ship on a space station that Zero somehow wound up on. That Zero doesn't know how they got there. So the two of them work together to get off the space station because they're being hunted by smugglers. So they finally get away from the smugglers. They head towards a space station where Hilda is. Hilda owes Bear some favors that he's calling in to help out. Those favors and information that they obtain lead them to go to the space station Ouroboros, where we have Yuna, Lulu, and of course our recently now established Alicia, with Yuna working as a mechanic, Lulu as an arms pilot, and arms are basically Gundams. So the two of them are there. They get involved with the transport of the classified asset, which we now know is Alicia. And when Zero and Bear come into contact with it, they trigger a whole bunch of shenanigans, which we haven't figured out exactly what, but with those shenanigans being revealed, Zero has come to light as a guardian, which is basically a Jedi in this world. And Jedis were purged before Zero was put into sleep. Zero doesn't know why, so that's one of the things is Zero's trying to figure out why they were purged and, claimed as traitors, which leads them to Ouroboros. And basically it's a whole bunch of shenanigans that result in that coming into contact with the Federation's Fifth Fleet. Admiral Fasha comes in as to stop the smugglers. And then word gets to the Republic, and then they send Selfnir, our registered, basically executioner, to go and kill Zero. And that's kind of what we have right now. The overarching plot is basically Zero wakes up 600 years later and is trying to find answers on what happened during the war and how basically they're even alive 600 years later. It basically just get answers, which then drags them down the rabbit hole of basically doing what they do best and protecting and helping people and everything else in between. And we don't have the full picture yet because I wanted to establish the characters first, and then we can start working on some other things. Like we do have the universal species for all the species in the story. So we do have, we have human, we have Panthera, which are basically cat people, Lapin, which are bunny people, we have Vulpin, the fox people, the lycanthropes, which are basically werewolves, we have goblins, elves, centaurs, and while barely appearing will be dragons. They are space dragons. We are going to space dragons. Then you have the main factions. These are the big three. Basically, as any story will have your antagonist, the neutral, and the anti-hero group. The Republic are the big bads of the story. They are the ones who have caused everything in the story to be bad. They are the evil of evil. They just do it because they're assholes type situation. The fuck? Oh. Sorry, I looked over at my side and I saw something pop up and I'm like, what the hell? Oh yeah, like I said, these characters are just the main characters. These are just literally the main characters that the main story follows. We'll have side characters, we'll have new characters that'll appear and join the group as well. But these are the main ones. This is the main start group. We will definitely have more characters as the story goes on. They may not all be main characters, but they definitely will be characters. But for the factions, again, we have the Republic, which is the main antagonist. It is similar to Star Wars's setup for the Republic, which is basically a council full of, different planets that make up the governing body, and the majority of them are basically evil. There is no redeeming quality in the Republic. They are all fucking evil. The Federation, which is more, I don't know exactly how the Federation is run. I haven't set that up in my mind yet. But they are neutral. They are neither good nor evil, but they're similar as a way that they just kind of do their own thing. And the Empire is kind of similar to the Republic, but they are nowhere near as evil. Oddly enough, they are actually more towards, well, no, they're not more towards peace. They're pushing to expand their territory, but they are less, they're the better half of a bad deal. Is basically, they're not good, they're not evil, but they're more evil than good. So we have that. And of course we have the human genetic mutation, which is what Zero is, and Zero is a male yin, which for basic points, they are femboy. But we also have male girl? I don't know how to, what would the opposite of femboy be? Basically they're a Fuda. And then of course we have the opposite for the female characters. But they're a genetic defect that affects about 1 in a million, in which a human child is born as a gender but physically develops as the opposite gender. The term yin is referred to a male who has developed feminine traits, and a yang is a female who has developed masculine traits. Basically meaning they got one thing, but their body says they're another thing. That's basically what it is. And now that we kind of have Alicia set up as the connection between it, makes more sense to have her connect. Tomboy? Pretty much. Just way more boy than anything. So we're just going to add some extra terms and stuff to help develop the story. And I had this one. Atticus Ran. Mysterious individual that has some connection to Zero from before, from the Great War. That's all there is. It's just an individual who's somehow connected to Zero. I don't know much because even I haven't come up with that. But is she packing extra heat? Like, what do you mean by that? Are you talking about Zero, or are you talking about Are you talking about yang? Are you talking about a yin or a yang? Because if you're talking about yins, they have a penis. If you're talking about a yang, they have a vagina. That's what it means. Yin, they have a penis, but they develop, their body develops as if they were a woman, which includes bone structure, muscle structure, everything. And the same for a yang, they develop the muscle structure and, bone structure of a male. But they have the one part between their legs. If that's what you're asking. It is basically to say that they're different and it's a mutation. But yeah, Atticus ran. Actually, we're gonna add an extra T just because it looks cooler. Atticus Rand is just a mysterious individual that has some connection to Zero from the Great War. It is a name that Zero knows, but that's about it. It's kind of confusing for me for a bit. Oh, it's supposed to sound confusing because even in the story, most of them are just like, okay, what does that mean? But yeah, I want to keep it vague just so that, most people get confused. Because again, it's supposed to be confusing. Because again, it's a very rare, genetic mutation and again, it only happens in humans. No other species gets hit with it, but that's only because of genetic warfare done at one point in time during the universe. And then of course we have Artemis. And extremely God. I can't spell unique. Oh, that's why. Unique and extremely artificial intelligence that was planted into Zero's mind, into Zero sometime during their cryo sleep. Artemis can act independently of Zero. Independently of Zero and Artemis is a separate entity connected to Zero. I cannot spell today. It can function on its own without any input from Zero. Artemis is basically literally just but Artemis is basically just a very powerful artificial intelligence that somebody implanted into Zero during their cryosleep, and most intelligences will usually take over the host body because there's no brain activity, but whatever was done was either done completely correct or incorrect, depending on how you take it. And Artemis basically has their own mindset. Instead of linking with Zero's system, it created its own mind, basically, in Zero. Which is why Artemis is able to do what it does. It doesn't interact with Zero. Basically, Zero has two minds. Has their own, and then Artemis. They're basically completely intertwined. If something happens to Artemis, it happens to Zero. Meaning if one dies, they're both dead. Kind of scenario. They are linked completely, but Artemis is able to do whatever they want to without any input from Zero. And that is what happens. That is technically how Bear comes to meet Zero, because Artemis is active while Zero's asleep. Artemis was keeping Zero alive while they were asleep, because actually we'll add that to this, because cryosleep. We'll actually add cryosleep to this terms and items, because it is something that needs to be said, because I thought it would be an interesting plot device. Cryosleep. A method of healing or therapy. No. That's cryosleep. Method that allows individuals trying to think of a word and method to say this. Special device used to treat injuries and prolong a terminal patient using cold storage technology, cold storage and stasis technology. Technology, not technology. Shut up, mind. God damn it. To find a cure. Using cold storage and stasis. Okay, I did spell it right. God, my mind is stupid. The longest and attack was supposed to be used for long term but it was unsuccessful. The longest recorded use was 50 years. All other tests proved fatal and unsuccessful. God damn it. Hold on. Yay, I did it. That's basically what it is. It's like cryosleep technology only works for about 50 years. The fact that Zero is able to be there for 600 years is what's confusing. Advise you to treat injuries and prolong a terminal patient to find a cure. Terminal patient injuries and prolong to treat injuries. So they use to treat injuries using cold storage and stasis technology. No, let's just go with injuries. We won't even say terminal. We'll just say injuries. You know, keep a patient alive so they can get operated on, etc. Or if they don't have the technology to save them, they'll save them later on. We'll just keep it at that. Again, this stuff right here is mainly for me, just so that I have to go off of and can pull information as necessary. So we have cryosleep, which is just, the device. Artemis, an AI that somebody gave to Zero while they were knocked unconscious. Atticus ran, someone from Zero's past or somehow has a connection to Zero's past, but no idea who they are. They just know the name, and that's it. So we want some other details that we want to kind of throw into the story. Because basically what we want to do is we just want to try to get as much information as we can into the story before we actually start trying to write it. Because that is the whole, that's kind of the whole point. Where did I put that? There we go. But it's basically we want to just put in some extra detail. Sorry, I'm trying to. There we go. So we just want to add some extra details to the story, getting some more backstory and other details like that. Yeah, cryosleep should not last as long as it did for Zero, which means somebody was maintaining Zero's cryotube. Somebody was maintaining Zero's life while they were in stasis. Who or what? We have no information. Sorry, everything just everything went down. I'm being dumb. But yeah, so just trying to figure out all the information. So let's see. What other details did I add to my stupid brain? What other information did I have? The Guardian Saber. A weapon made silly for use by Guardians. Combat. Is made out of unknown little to no info on the construction my mind is working faster than my hands. Construction and making of the device what are no info on the construction and making the device. Actually, let's get rid of that. Weapon is made out of many unknown components. God damn it. Yay. It is sad that I get happy when I... You should probably know the answers to all mysteries beforehand to leverage them in the better in the story. Pretty much. But some of the mysteries need to be mysteries even for me. Because that's just the way it should be. I'm just kidding. But no, I should probably... I need to flesh out more of the story and plot points before I go out and do anything. What does it have? Many unknown components. Or of mysterious core. I say mysterious, but a weapon is an energy-based sword that is able... It's a lightsaber, basically. Cut through almost all known materials. Making of the weapon was a secret only known to select guardians of the order and only they know the origin yeah, it's basically a lightsaber. It's basically a lightsaber, but it's called the Guardian Saber for right now. I attempted NaNoWriMo this year and ended up with more text in the outlines than the actual draft. Yeah, that sounds about right. But again, this is just for me because the way my mind works is just fudge it till it works and then reorganize everything. Yeah, the Guardian Saber is basically a lightsaber, just a weapon made for use by Guardians. It's an energy-based sword. It's able to cut through almost all known materials. I say known materials because, there are some things they haven't tried to cut or, break. And, the weapon's creation is unknown. Only select people know about it, and they don't even know the origin, unless you're one of those people, which Zero is not, which makes it even harder for Zero when they actually don't know how to frickin' make their own weapon, which is why they use a katana right now. And we're going to put energy in brackets because it's technically not an energy sword. It's just, that's what most people know it as. It's known as an energy sword. It's not an energy sword. It's way more than that. Sorry. For some reason, I thought my screen wasn't all the way full-sized. I am a dumb. Let's see. What else should we add? We got some other details. Let's get some details. Oh, I know. Oh, wait, hold on. That's what we did add. Final arms. Integration. A device installed into a arms pilots. Fine. Allowing the user to directly connect, enhance the performance of arms. Procedure is dangerous, life-threatening, and most die on the operating table. Which is basically what it is. It's basically just to allow them to link with the actual arms and, if guns exist, why swords? Because it's cool. I haven't established it yet, but most weapons in the series, oddly enough, utilize regular bullets. Actually, we can actually do that now. Weapon types. Um, energy based, Physical. Types of weapon and ammo. No. Ammo types. We'll just say ammo types because types of ammo. Energy based for ship combat. Physical for ground. Energy based for ship combat. Physical for ground. Pilot choice for arms. Again, that's mainly types of ammo. You're mainly going to find, you know, actual bullets for, you know, pistols and guns. Energy based weapons are mainly for ships, you know, large scale combat ships. And of course, arms are technically equipped with energy based weapons as well. Usually. Energy. That make any sense? It does to me, but that's only because, you know, it's my story, so I kind of already have the generalization. But yeah, basically, the way things have developed throughout the universe, you know, energy based weapons are used for ships because, you know, energy can travel differently, I guess. I don't fucking know. Just go fuck yourself. Stop falling. Sorry, something fell. But yeah, energy just does more damage, I guess. I don't fucking know. It's also easier to not have to worry about giant, massive cannons needing to be made. Random sci-fi bullshit. True. But also, if you think about it, it requires less materials for energy based. If you think about it, if you really think about it, you'd only need to house the cannon and whatever powers the cannon to fire said energy, versus a physical round inside of a giant ship that would literally need to be crafted and built and then loaded onto the ship. So, and in reality, it makes more sense to energy based weapons on your giant spaceship versus the physical, which would need specially designed bullets and, you know, ammo types and shells and so forth. So it cut cost. And of course, you know, for an arms unit, it can switch between the two because, you know, it can fight in the atmosphere on a planet or in space. And, you know, physical weaponry would make more sense with ground units. But then again, most ground units don't fight. Pretty much. It's pretty much like, do you really want your ship to be carrying around massive amounts of freaking things? Like, they have missiles and shit. Maybe. Again, we're going with the Gundam logic, which, you know, missiles and some weaponry look cool. You're right, it does. However, again, We're going with the base fact that you don't want your ship to be loaded up with giant rounds of ammo. And again, that's just what I like to do. And also because it's just makes more sense than needing to go like, load the next round, get the shell in the chamber. Like, I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's sci-fi, okay? We're not thinking too hard on this. We can pull random bullshit as long as it makes a modicum of sense. Yeah, that's the types of ammo. But again, the Guardian Saber is considerably one of the stronger weapons. Like, even considered to, like, an arms that pulls out an energy sword, it technically isn't comparative to a Guardian Saber. But then again, the Guardian Saber will be destroyed immediately because it is a small, tiny thing versus a giant energy blade. But we're not going to get into that whole scenario because that's just weird. We do think double hard about everything. I'm from that sect. That is true. That is true. I won't deny it. I've thought about it too. It's like, wait a minute, wouldn't this make more sense than this? Or it's like, if you're doing that, shouldn't that occur? Or something like this and that and that. And it gets weird because you put too much logic into it. And sometimes you don't want to. So yeah, we have types of ammo that'll help, you know, solidify. Because Zero uses a pistol. That's Bear. Yeah, Zero uses a plasma katana, a plasma edge katana, and a pistol. You know, Bear has a hidden shotgun. His cane is a shotgun, okay? Apparently his gear is a special recipe cookbook, which I think more or less is less gear and more just he has a cookbook. Yeah, Fasha wields 2 pistols, a knife, a plasma edge katana. Selfener is the only one that wields a scythe. Because, you know, fuck it all. A piece of incredibly unstable matter for the win. Exactly. She also carries around 2 submachine guns. I forgot I gave her those. Most everybody else doesn't really wear weapons. I mean, for the most part. All right. Now it's time to do some sci-fi terms. Warp jump. Think hyperspace. That's basically what it is. What is it called in Star Wars again? Is it called hyperspace? Hyperdrive? I think hyperdrive. I don't know. That's basically what it is. It's just warp jump. Because, you know, fuck it. It just sounds cooler. I think that just covers the basis. Because it's a warp. It's a jump. It's space. Fuck it. Wormholes. Wormholes, etc. That's basically what a warp jump is. It's just a method of travel, quick travel, basically. The soft world building is more funny because you can just pull random stuff, and if it operates based on your random funny story logic, it just works. It kind of does. Like you said, it just kind of does work. As long as it makes sense to the narrative that you've established in the story. Like, the easiest example would be like, this thing does this. But then later on, the thing you've established doesn't do that. Had a project to make it more faster than light travel was powered by basically forcing a quantum computer to divide by zero and glitching the reality itself. Now, see, that would make sense in this in the established lore that you've built, is that if something divides by zero in a computer, it can just bend reality. Which is basically what ward jumps are. It's just, whatever. As long as it makes sense to the narrative that you've established, it's okay. But again, if you start trying to put in something that bends the narrative to a different line that you've already established, you're kind of, everyone crapped their pants when someone came to troubleshoot. It's like, okay, there is time being rendered here. We need a DeLorean. All right. We're actually going to start diving into... We're still going to keep sci-fi stuff, but I want to get this. Breeding / heat. Specific races enter a time of mating certain points in universal year. I don't have an established period of time yet. During these moments, they usually only have a singular thought. To breed. Yeah, that's a good moment. She's like, all right, time to go to work today. Just dies. Open. Lappin. Open, Lappin, Panthera. Are more prone to this. There we go. Now again, they can't all breed with each other. So it's not like they're going to start jumping everybody. They do have ways to hold themselves off. It's not like the only thing they want to do is they'll just find the first person. But you know what I mean. But they do have it. Vulpin, Lappin, Panthera, and Lycanthropes are the usual 4 races that just kind of have that situation where during certain points of the year they're like, all right, I'm horny as shit. Which I wanted to put in there just because. That time of the year when half the universe returns to monkey. Thankfully, it's not universal. It's not like, all right, every this day they all go into it. No, it's kind of spaced out. It also just depends on the individual themselves. But this is like a universal thing that they go through. Bing bong. Alright, let's look at the characters and try to see if there's any information we can add. Oh, that's what it was. The Great War. An event that occurred that ended little over 600 years ago with a peace treaty between the Republic and the Empire. Between the Republic and the Empire, with the Federation acting as a witness. The war lasted a total of 41 years. And near the end, it also brought forth the downfall of the Guardians. It was basically a war, 41 years. Of course, it's space battles, so, you know, that can play a long, massive part in it. But it lasted for 41 years. It ended with a peace treaty between the Empire and the Republic. The Federation acted as a witness, you know, setting boundaries and so forth, and, you know, call to arms. And it was also when mediocre, pretty much. I don't know what, you know, I am terrible with acronyms, so I don't know what GYAT means. I'm really bad with acronyms. But it also saw the downfall of the Guardians, where they were turned as traitors and brutally murdered. Which also brings us to where Zero was put into cryostasis due to an injury, and then, you know, kind of goes from there. Guardians. A former neutral faction that worked alongside Republic to protect formal neutral faction that at one time worked to protect and guard the entire universe. Yeah, I don't even know what that means. We're gonna Google it real quick. No, that is not the what I wanted, Google. Oh. Huh. Yeah, you're kind of right. It would be similar to that. Of course, it's universe wide, so it was, you know, not needing to worry about so many of them. Of course, space stations and so forth, but we'll get into that. The entire universe under the order of a council. Oh, definitely, definitely. Junkers, space things, everything in between. Your best judgment and guidance from the elders. A decision was made to align themselves with the Republic to better serve and protect, but in truth, that was a lie. Space UN. Well, basically, the easiest way to understand it was that basically in the early days of the Guardians, you had the elders who they were basically nomads. They were space nomads that went out throughout the galaxy, protected people, came together somehow, and formed the Guardians. The elders were the ones that taught the newer ones, the nomad. They would go out, protect, serve, come back, repeat. But the elders at one point decided to align themselves with the Republic, and well, from just in general, they went out, protected the people. There was no real major threat. They were just individuals that were just traveled to protect people. That's what they did. There was no real enemy per se. For a while. There was a main enemy, which we'll get to in a little bit. Yeah, at one point they decided to align themselves with the Republic to better serve and protect, but in truth that was a lie. Because it was. The Republic was only in it for themselves. Again, anything to do with the Republic is a bold-faced lie, because they are evil as shit. Great Rift. Here's where the actual protection comes in, and the need for a special weapon. Massive spatial tear in the fabric of reality. Blankets. Cosmo. Really, it sits on the edge of known space. It sits in dark space. The rift appeared one day, but no actual recorded date on when it first appeared. The rift destroys and anything that approaches the rift is immediately absorbed. I want to put absorbed in parentheses because I can't think of I'm not able to spell. There we go. Absorbed is immediately turned and that approaches the rift is the rift vanishes. Without a trace. On the other hand, the rift also brought with it the emergence of an alien life form dubbed a nightmare. Dubbed Nightmare. Nightmares. I'm not able to spell words correctly. Pretty much anything that touches the rift gets morbed. Just straight up just vanishes. It just like poofs, but there's no dust, there's nothing left. It just vanishes. It's gone. No trace, no signal. It's all gone. So then we have the nightmares. Creatures that come from the rift in many shapes and forms. I seem to only have one design. I seem to only want to kill. That's it. They're just abominations that kill things. They have no real purpose. All conventional. All conventional weapons deemed useless. The Guardians except the Guardians saber. Well, it's not to say, there were millions of monsters pouring out from the rift. There were a lot, but, there's a scientist out here already thinking how much stuff you need to shove into the rift for something funny to happen. I wouldn't doubt it. Creatures that are called from the rift. They don't actually come out of the rift, but ever since the rift appeared, they appear. It's not like they have to fly out of the rift and go to a planet. They just kind of spawn in like a little mini rift. But they don't spawn in like mass numbers. It's weird. But they're basically unkillable creatures that the only way to seem to kill them is with a Guardian's weapon. Which is why Guardians technically align themselves with the Republic so they can move faster. Which is technically still not true. Yeah, basically, nightmares. Energy from nightmares. Oh, that'd be an interesting moment. But yeah, basically, nightmares are just creatures, abominations from the rift, or I should say, that are linked to the rift, and which they can't be killed by normal wheat means. They can only be killed by the Guardian Saber. That was the only thing that seems to kill them, that they've been able to find out. Anyone who is touched who comes into physical contact with a nightmare begins a process known as crystallization. I forgot a T. I don't really know Warhammer, so I just thought of it one day, like, you know what if there's like a massive rift that connected all the universes together and flattened them and created it into one. That was the initial plan for the rift, but it's literally Eyes of Terror. Crystallization and no known cure exists. Sorry, I'm stretching real quick. Okay. We're getting a lot of good information. Yeah, the main enemy for the Guardians, as you were asking, was basically nightmares. They were the enemy. They were the ones that they were protecting it from for a while there. Because the weapon for the Guardian saber had already been invented, but it had never seen specific use until the nightmares came. And whatever energy the saber uses is the only thing that can kill, a nightmare. Hence why they were seen as more protectors and guardians, as their actual name implies. Before they were just nomads. And then the rift occurred, and then they became guardians, and then they became servants to the Republic, and then they were all murdered. Which makes you wonder, why would they murder something that can defeat an enemy from the rift? No, you cannot. Basically, when a nightmare dies, it turns to dust. When a nightmare is killed, all of its remains turn into a poisonous dust. There. Just making sure. No, you cannot tame them. They are monsters that literally just want to kill. Nightmare dust becomes a currency. Yes, the very poisonous instant death nightmare dust. Get it while it's hot. Only $9.99 a bottle. But no, they can't be tamed. They literally just spawn forth and they just murder. They have no need to do anything else. They kill, and then die. Yeah, that's basically what happens. Which also means it's basically like radiation. You can't go anywhere near where a nightmare was murdered because it just lingers there. I'd like to do that, but at the same time, it would really fuck up the story process. I have a theory. Well, not theory, but I have a process for the story that I'll reveal to you guys right now. Is that, excuse me. Okay, now I'm burping for some reason. But it's scarce and cannot possibly be reforged, so it's a good option for currency, and Guardians are already the only ones to produce it. They're not trying to produce it, they're trying to keep people alive. But no, the secret twist that I'm gonna do is that when Zero wakes up, the rift is gone. When Zero wakes up 600 years later, the rift that was there is gone. Nightmares are gone. They've ceased to exist. But Zero doesn't notice this. Zero goes on with their life like normal, but seems to be forgetting that there used to be something there. There used to be this thing there. It's another mystery that happens that Zero has to figure out. What the fuck happened to this massive rift that used to exist there? Of course, this may not pan out. I may not use that idea at all. Just keep the rift there as well. But again, the Republic murdered the ones who could kill it. You guys are forgetting it's a poisonous dust. It literally kills you. But again, like I don't know if I'm gonna keep that thought process at all with the story, because it kind of leans into territory that I don't want to get into the story per se. It's a little weird. It's a thought I have, but I don't know if I want to. But I don't think people are trying to do uranium fueled drugs. There's a difference. Now, if somebody is, I will gladly correct that. But yeah, what I would like to try to do for a point in the story is that the rift is gone. It's not there. But Zero doesn't realize this. Zero has this like nagging feeling that, you know, something's there that should be there that isn't doing. You guys are just trying to be all technical. You guys just want people snorting nightmare dust, don't you? You just want people to snort nightmare dust. That's what you want. I know it. You want to see a guy do a line of nightmare dust and then just die. Which honestly at that point would make a lot of sense. If we do the route like that, at least in the past, like, okay, here. If we go with this, if we go with the first part with the rift disappearing, the nightmares disappearing, any past, any of Zero's past will have people buying, selling, and using the nightmare dust as drugs and currency and so forth. And if we do that, we'll have a guy doing a line of nightmare dust and die because he's high as shit on nightmare dust or whatever. Well, I don't know what we'll call it, but basically, yeah, that. If we do it that way. If we don't do it that way and we just have, you know, the rift still be there and the nightmare's still there, the dust will just be harder to get because, you know, nightmares can't be killed except by Guardian Saber. They can be contained, they just can't be killed. Nightmare dust is literally not going to be running the world, okay? It's not going to be like that. It's not a currency. We're not going there. We're not having nightmare dust be a currency. It'll be a drug of some sort. That's about it. Just a drug. If we go that route. I don't know if we will. It'd be funny. But at the same time, you guys are trying to put it into like this massive thing. And I'm like, no, we're not doing that. Yeah, but the main enemy of the Guardians was the Nightmares. And they fought until the Great War. We're not... Stop using Morb, okay? We're not Morbin over here. We're not doing that. No. Stop it. Imagine a 700-year-old man, a 700-year-old elf going, I need my dust. I need my dust. And he's just in a mental institute because the dust is so powerful that he can't get off with anything. He's just like constantly in a state of pain. Okay, no, we're not going there. We're not. No. I know you're joking, but no, we're not trying to go that route. But enough with the dust, please. Please, enough with the dust. You've given me some good ideas to bounce off of, but we're not using anything major. Because, like, a nightmare dies and they turn to a dust that kills people. I wouldn't doubt it. I would not doubt it. It's like, all right, time to write the dust-fueled fanfic. And then somebody goes, but the story's not even written. It's like, I know, but we're going the distance, boys. We're going the distance. Which, sometimes fanfics come out before even the thing's completed, so. Which is usually how it goes, so. Yeah. Alright, but yeah, we have the Great War, which results in the Guardians all being killed off, which again doesn't make sense. Like, if you think about it, why would the Republic have the Guardians marked as traitors if they're the only ones that can stop the nightmares? Why kill off your only chance to get rid of creatures that literally just can't kill people? They touch you once, and you pretty much turn to crystal and die. It's not, there's no chopping off your arm and you're safe type of thing. It's, you get touched, you turn to crystal and die. Like, they can be contained. Like, you can contain one. It just doesn't die. You could put a nuke to its head and it would just get back up and continue walking. You could deprive it of food for ever. Of any food, and it would still be fine. They just don't die. Which again is confusing because you kill off the one thing that can get rid of them. It's a mystery. Why would they do that? Why would they do that? I'm asking that because I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out the reason, the backstory of why they were betrayed. Pretty much. The Republic would pretty much do that. It's like, that's probably the propaganda they used to have the Guardians turn traitor, is that they were using it to control people. Which, oddly enough, goes into a plot point I was thinking of later on. Not so much exactly like that, like how you described it, but, like the Guardians have to be eliminated because they're abominations. Well, your description would make more sense than mine, in that they literally did it to, gain power. Which honestly is true for some of the Guardians. The elders, as they see it, were basically very corrupt. The Guardians weren't perfect. They weren't, perfect beings. They were people. No, that does make more sense. The Republic using that as the excuse to get rid of the Guardians. Not exactly the exact real reason they did it, but definitely a major point. Any part of the world that's the universe that's not corrupt, the Federation's not really corrupt. And again, the Empire isn't corrupt so much as they just want power. Like, again, the Federation's very neutral. They're basically the good guys of the group, of the three factions. They're the good guys. They're not perfect, but they don't really want power. They don't really want to control anything. They just want their people to be happy. The Empire, isn't corrupt. They're just power hungry. The Empire is kind of built on the pure blood type thing. They want to rule the world, universe, basically. And the Republic is literally just corrupt evil. Like, the face of the Republic is nice, but the real leaders behind the Republic are evil. Yeah, Federation is the general neutrality of it all. They're not very evil or bad. By the way, how do close combatants fight against ranged weapons? Energy shield, stealth technology. Oh yeah, there's stealth technology. Well, there's shields and stuff. Like Zero has basically an energy shield on themselves. I don't know. Plasma katana sounded cool. No, they have like they basically have energy shields. Like they have weapons and stuff that protect them. The basic way for an energy shield is basically think of like Master Chief, where you shoot a bullet at him and the shield protects him. That's basically what it is. Of course, you have Selfnir has deployable energy shields as well as a personalized shield. So she has actual two shields that deploy themselves along with the one that protects her body. This is more so that I don't have to draw armor on everybody. So the only ones really using armor are like, you know, actual infantry and stuff. But yeah, basically, you know, they use shields. They have shields. They protect a certain number of. They protect. Let me rephrase this. They protect a certain number, up to a certain number of hits to the shield, and also depending on the actual damage to it. So, like, small caliber bullets will take a lot of bullets to pierce a shield, but you know, a tank shell will just kind of rip the shield to shreds. You're gonna die, type situation. You know, basically like real normal armor. You know, a bulletproof vest will only protect you so much before it gives out. And it won't protect you from a tank shell. That's pretty much how I see it. You know, a shot to the head won't kill them unless it's a high caliber or, you know, damaging weapon. Specialized weapons will cut through the shields unless it's a different type of shield. Plasma katana was just sounded cool, so I went with it. Technically, most military combat in the story is done utilizing the arms units. Most actual military combat is done using arms units. There is very little ground combat in military. In the current military standpoint, between the Federation, the Republic, and the Empire, most, if not all, combat is done utilizing the arms. So, like, ground combat is usually reserved for infiltration purposes and specialized missions and so forth. Very little actual ground combat is seen in warfare. Not to say there isn't actual ground combat, there is, but you know, most combat involved in heavy military skirmishes and, you know, firefights in space and stuff is with an arms. Which I don't think we actually added what an arms is. We have not added what an arms is. I kill a ton of people to make one arms compatible dude. Well, if you're talking about Alicia, she's an experiment for a different type of design. Most arms are basically like mobile suits. They can be piloted by anybody if you have the training. An arms is literally just a giant suit of armor, a mechanized suit of armor. Most anybody can pilot one without any real training. The spinal integration unit is a very unique system that only very few arms have because most of them are mass produced. So there's no real need to get it unless you have a customized unit. Now, the reason why I chose arms is because I had an acronym for it, which is Stands for Armored Robotic Mechanical Suit. In which a singular pilot can control and operate they became the main unit they quickly became the main standard unit for global combat. Most arms in use are mass produced models or heavily modified very few are made to order. There we go. Basically, they are armored robotic mechanical suits that a singular pilot can operate. They quickly became the standardized limit enhancing gear set. You know, I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna steal that idea just for that. Currently has an unknown use. Because I don't know if I want to use it, but I want to have it there in case I need it. Somebody's like, I'm getting in my legs, and you're like, wait, what? Now, I don't know if I'll use this. I don't know if I'll use legs, but fuck it. It's funny, and we have arms, so it might as well have legs. I had to do it. I had to. Now you're just trying to make puns. Now you're just doing puns. Nah, it's fine. Let's save real quick. We have done a bunch of stuff. It doesn't seem like we've done enough, done a lot, but we got Alicia's backstory making more sense. She's no longer a Republic senator. She's she's a weapon of some sort. Yeah, pretty much. You've been pulling out puns since the dust incident. I did want to add one other thing that I thought of. First need to know how to. Hold on. I was thinking of the wrong one. Do. This is something that I came up with while taking a shower one day. The Amaterasu system. Next thing you know, they invented tactical ordnance robotic suit. Tactical ordnance robotic suit optics. My mind couldn't realize what you were trying to spell. Special program that, when executed, turns the once invulnerable when executed, allows the to be injured and killed by conventional weapons. Culture people are already buying their field exploration. I hate that these sound actually interesting. I hate that these sound interesting because I know what you're just trying to spell. I know what you're doing, but they actually sound funny. You just for this, just for the laughs, I'm gonna write these down because these are actually funny and they fit within the stupidity of my mind. Okay, so we have the torso, which is tactic. I cannot spell right. I can spell ordnance correctly, but not tactical. God damn it. Currently has an unknown use. Only doing it because, you know what? It sounds funny. And if we have an arms, we might as well go everywhere else. Currently as an unknown use. I don't know if I'll use the legs, torso, and feet. But if I do, we have something to go off of. So I will thank you for that. That's funny. It's very pun worthy, but it also makes sense. As dumb as it sounds, it also makes sense. It's like, put on your torso. It's like, wait, what? Yeah, that would actually be something funny to have Zero wake up and be like, okay, I know what an arms is, but what the fuck is the legs? Tools of extraterrestrial stealth. We're not going specifics, okay? We're not going to the toes. We're not going to toes. We're not going there. Because then we have to come up with fingers. And I don't think we want to go down the road of that. Okay, we're not going down that road. That's where I'm drawing the line, at toes and fingers and specific extremities, okay? Because if we're going to do that, one of you is going to come up with penis. And I don't think we want to go with that. I don't think we want to make an acronym for penis in this story. Well, I'm probably sure you guys could have your fun with it. No. That's where I draw the line. That is where I draw the line. We're not going that far. All right, no more on that. No further on that. So we have a bunch of descriptions and details and so forth, and we have we have a connection. We have a much better setup for the characters, with Zero and Bear trying to get off the smuggler space station, and then fleeing to Hilda's space station that she's on, to call in some favors and escape the smugglers who still are after them, which then they come into contact with information from Hilda to go to the Ouroboros research station that technically they're not allowed to go to because, you know, it's research station specifically for whatever is going on in the research station. It's not for, you know, individual. It's not for, you know, private people. But they go in, and then they come into contact with Yuna and Lulu, who also is coming into contact with Alicia, which then triggers Selfnir to come after them because, you know, the Republic wants Zero dead. And coming into contact with everybody to the rescue of the space station will be Fasha, which leads everybody back again. The group again coming to Hilda's place because, you know, they escaped from there. They need a place to go, and Hilda's the only one they could go to because she's got some connections. Being, you know, a prostitute, she's got her ways on her space station that she's on. So she's got some connections. So yeah, we've got a good story. We got a good setup for story for purposes of, you know, each character coming into contact that pretty much feels pretty fluid. Pretty natural compared to what it was beforehand in my previous versions. And the previous versions, none of the characters really felt natural, and they're meeting up. And it was kind of like most of them already knew each other, which, aside from Yuna and Lulu, who are twins, aside from the two of them, which they're very young elves. At least he's the only one who's old. That's actually fine. Yeah. Yeah. Yuna and Lulu are twins, so they're the only ones that are really connected to each other. You know, Bear has some connection to Hilda, but it's more so he's delivered goods to the space station that she was on. They met a few times and they're just kind of friends, but they don't know, like, they're not, super best friends. Fasha, she's not connected to anybody. She's on her own. She's the admiral of the Fifth Fleet, the entire Fifth Fleet of 32 ships in the Federation. No, no, we are not doing ribcage. Robotic integrated broadside capable augmented gunnery entities. Take it from here, soldiers. We're not doing ribcage. No, no, no more acronyms for the body. Okay, no more, no more. I was okay with torso, feet, and legs. Okay, we're gonna cut it there. No more. No more. I think we have a good foundation that we can start building the rough draft of the start of the story. So I think we have a good rough draft of the start of the story that we can work on next week on part 4. Which, again, I'm going to do this every Sunday just because I really do want to work this, but I don't want to overwork it. So, doing it one day a week, on a Sunday when I'm tired, but I have plenty of energy. Excuse me. I am starting to yawn. I think I'm starting to lose my energy. But we have a good boundary for characters. A good setup for everybody. With everybody having some backstory that we can bounce off of and branch out. Alicia's being the most unique because she doesn't really have backstory. Most of her backstory is experimentation. Being sliced open. Sensory pilot integration, neurologic enhancement. No, no, we're not doing it. We're not acronyming every part of the human body, okay? If you could come up for something convincing for fingers or hands, maybe. You know what? We'll just go with hands. If you can come up with an acronym for hands that doesn't sound dumb as shit, be my guest. But until then, no. Because we have arms, we have legs, and we have feet. And you have a torso. We're missing hands. We gotta throw these hands. We don't throw these arms, we throw these hands. I think we did a pretty good job of building all the characters together in a very stable way. Sorry. I'm yawning too much. I'm tired now. My energy is waning. I'm weaning my energy. I'm a wiener. I'm a wiener, Mom. Penis and vagina are long lost technologies forgotten by time. That sounds about right. That sounds about right. It sounds about right. Because you lost the technology. You know what they're used for, but you just don't have the time. You know what I mean? No, we made good progress. We fixed up Alicia's backstory to make far more sense than it did before. Heavy armaments, negation, defensive system. Heavy armament, negation. Heavy armament, negation. Heavy armament, negate, defense system. I don't know. It sounds good, but it sounds wordy. I don't know if I'm going to use that one. I don't know. I don't know. It sounds good, but at the same time, it sounds more wordy than it does for some reason. I don't know. It's just maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe I just don't want to use it. But I think that's going to be it for the story today. Because if I'm yawning so much, that means I'm getting tired. But we're not going to end it just yet. We're going to switch over to chatting for just a little bit so we can chat and talk a little bit. I'm a simple man. I get a word, I give a sci-fi BS acronym. I like that odds. That's what I do. So we're going to switch over to chatting real quick just for a little bit. Move this over here. Bring out our Mr. Fox. There we go. But no, I had fun doing this today again. Again, I've had fun every single time we've done this. Whether you guys are interacting or not, helps me get my brain juices flowing and everything flowing in between it. Definitely helps there. And again, we will definitely be doing a part 4 next week because, again, I am having a lot of fun with this. The idea is there. It's more grounded in reality compared to my last number of attempts. My last number of attempts have all been really bad. So, yeah, this one seems far more stable. Far more stable, and I like it. That's a good thing. Is that why it's doing that? Hey, it's always fun. Whether you actually do it or not, I would give it a shot. You never know what you may come up with. Okay, why is that resetting? Why it's resetting? That's fucking everything up. Yeah, sorry, I was trying to fix something in VTube Studio. P. That is a very nice letter. I don't think we need to slow down the Earth's rotation. I think we just need to expand the days. Because time is a construct of man. And we can do whatever the fuck we want to do with time. Time is just a construct. So if we want to expend the days, you know what? Fuck it. Let's make one day 48 hours. And a week still be 7 days. But one day is 48 hours. You know, let's just change. Let's just change everything. Okay? I think we should just change the laws of nature to be whatever we want it to be. That way we still have 7 days a week, but now days are 48 hours. And instead of spending all of your time at work, you spend 8 hours at work, and you can do whatever you want for the rest of the day. And you can sleep twice a day. I know, but you know, I was just saying, fuck it. Let's just increase the time that we calculate as a day and just call it a day. So, because why not? Why not have fun? Like, are you talking to me? Because if you are, that's what we're gonna be doing next week. The puns follow you even here. I can never escape the puns. I am a pun. I am a living pun. That's why I'm a jokester. I'm a barrel of laughs. And a sea. I don't know. There was something to it. Words. Words and such. But no, next week is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be starting up actually writing the story. We're going to be doing our best to start the story, or at least do a first draft. Basically, we'll start writing. We'll go from there. We're going to build up the story, test things out, make it make sense. That's the whole point. Again, I am no professional writer by any close to the word. I am no professional. But I do want to get into it. And what better way to start writing? Exactly. The first plot hole. That's a plot hole. Fuck you. It's like, but that's a plot hole. And my response will be, fuck you. Hold on. It'd be even better if I did it this way. My response will be, fuck you. Oh, yes. Was that scary? I don't know. Either way. I wasted 2 weeks straight writing an outline for my story and then I realized that I messed up the main character. I don't usually write outlines. I just kind of just write. I usually don't go planning. But again, the main point of this is getting this thing to look right. Sorry, I had to move my camera. The main point that we're trying to do right now is get some backstory, get some flowing sense of, I don't know, basically a flowing sense of, build up for the character so that I know what to write, so that I know I can do this, so that I know I can bounce this off because like I know the character can do this and things like that. Well, yeah. Well, again, like I do it because my mind is like fuck you if you're trying to think of it. And that makes it very difficult to do things for me. For me specifically. I've never been able to just sit there and contemplate. And basically when I do that, that's my outline. I outline it by just writing and then kind of go back and change up what needs to be changed. Story point like this doesn't make sense, should probably switch it out with something like this, or et cetera, et cetera. And again, this is just an ongoing project of foreveritude. There's no real way this is ever going to get done, or that I know of. It could get done one day, but for right now, there is no possible way it's getting done anytime soon. Deadline is before I die. Welcome, 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 welcome. Welcome to the very, very big show. There's not really a show. But yeah, basically, it's just to do this as much as I want. Have fun, play it, experience the writing of the story, and going from there. There is no real deadline because it may never happen. And that's okay. Not really. I do want it to happen. I'm just saying that to cover for myself. Been lurking? Well, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I always respect lurkers who lurk. I try to lurk in other streams, but it's hard. Mainly because my phone dies before I can even lurk if I do it on YouTube. And I can't do it on Twitch because I can't lock my phone and listen to a stream. I think I can only do that if I'm subbed to somebody. And I don't have the money to do that to all the people I would like to listen to while I'm at work. I don't really watch streams anymore. we're just gonna go all freaking cyberpunk. All right, you get an augmentation. You get an augmentation. I don't know you, but you're getting an augmentation. Get over here and pass the fuck out as I splice open your spleen and give you a spleenectomy or whatever. Give you a robotic spleen. That's what we're gonna do, boys. That's what we're gonna do. Of course, that'd be weird and painful, probably. I'd assume. I don't know. It's easy to cut out the middleman when he's cut out most of himself. Sorry, more drama that I'm reading on Twitter. That's usually what I do. Like when I had a portable charger for my phone at work, I could I could listen to streams while I was working because plug it in, listen while I'm working, and my phone doesn't die. However, the battery broke because the connector to it got loose, and yeah, so I can't really listen to streams anymore. Truthfully, yeah. Truthfully, Twitter is pretty evil. I usually use it just to stay in touch with friends and not talk to them ever because I'm an introvert like that. But I usually do. I got rid of it off my phone, so I only have it on the computer. But no, the trending stuff going on between some content creators is, God, it's stupid. I'm just getting annoyed. I just wish it was talking about porn. The good old days. Is it so wrong to just want titties to be on my timeline and not drama? Well, not partial drama, partial truth. I just want titties. Just big ol' honka badonka dongos. We just want to live peacefully with the titties. Itty bitties, large and in charge. Everything in between. We love them all. I love them all. I don't know about you guys. I don't speak for everybody on the titty love, but I love me some titties. Oh, I have a problem. I have a problem. I think I know why. I think I know why. I didn't perform any self-care today before stream. Which is homepage. That is true with the way a lot of the changes they've enacted recently. A lot of those changes. Oops. Sorry, I clicked my thing when I wasn't trying to click that. But no, a lot of Twitch changes are weird, especially now. Borderline on crazy. Like I know they made one change simply for artists, and then everybody in the kingdom was like, you know what? It's for everybody. Let's get naked on stream. Can we just have good things and people not fuck it up for us? Yeah. That's pretty much what it felt like for a while. And so conceited he thinks he's unkillable. Alright, the drama between these two idiots is just ridiculous. They're both idiots, but they both have their points. Albeit one of them's just a conceited asshole, and the other is a person I don't even know. So I can't really say anything on that point, but god damn. But you know what? I had fun. We made story progress. And next week, we start digging into the actual story, where we actually start trying to write the story. Number 4068. Pretty much. Pretty much. Neither of them are innocent. Neither of them, they're both truthful. They're both not innocent. I just wish one side would shut the fuck up. I wish they would both just grow up and get over it. But, you know, with the way it is now, one person thinks that, oh, because I can do whatever I want and people will back me up, that means I'm always right. When they're not always right. But either way, we'll get off of the Twitter drama. And we'll talk about Power World, which is the stream we're doing tomorrow. We're going to finally get back into Power World. We're going to get back into the game, get back into saving the pals, and not trying to make a sweatshop because, well, I would love to do that, and it's funny. I don't want to view my pals that way because it gets a little weird, but you know, well, yeah, anyways. Power World will be tomorrow. I am looking forward to playing Power World because it is a game that I thoroughly enjoyed when I was playing it last week, but unfortunately, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink came out, and I was hoping to play that for a long time, but that story is a lot shorter than I thought it would be. So we're in the situation now where I have to do things, unpopular things, things that make me different. I don't know what I'm saying. But basically, yeah, tomorrow we're going to be doing Power World. I don't have a server, which I would like to do a server for mutuals or friends. But I don't know if that'll happen because, you know, I don't know how to set up a server. And I don't really want to go through the trouble and hassle of a server. And apparently it costs money to set up a server now or some shit for Power World. And I don't want to do that. So, but yes, tomorrow we have Power World. We're going to be doing a bunch of stuff in Power World. The Critter Labor Camp Simulator, pretty much. If you do that. You don't have to do that. But if you do that. But no, I'm having a lot of fun with it when I was playing it. We quit for a little bit because I got a little burnt out. Because I was playing it way too much to the point where even I couldn't stand playing it. But the good news is I'm back. I want to play it again. We're going to play it tomorrow. And then Tuesday begins the big day for Honkai Star Rail. The new update for 2.0 is going to be released. So we're going to get on the action and playing the new story. Because I really want to play it. Because I've been waiting for Penna. It's called Penacony is what everybody says. But Penacony sounds cooler. So I'm going to say that. So Penacony. The 2.0 update for Star Rail is Tuesday. I am looking forward to playing it. And maybe if the new character that I want comes out, we'll roll for her. We'll do a couple of rolls, a couple of pulls for her and see if we can get lucky. If not, we will sadly save up our tokens and get ready for the big one that will come out later on. That I'm really looking forward to. But yes, until then, take it one moment at a time, one day at a time, and one frothy burrito. I don't know where I was going with that joke, but there was a joke somewhere in there. But I am getting tired, so I think this is a good point to go ahead and call it for today. Because we made progress. We didn't make super bunches amounts of progress, but we did make some pretty good progress. We got more details for the story. We finished fixing one of the characters' backstories to make more sense and less dumb and full of plot holes for a backstory that had nothing in it. But we did it. We've made more progress, which is good. I see it so much that just seeing Power makes me angry. I'm sorry. I'm not like everybody else. I haven't got to play it crazily. But thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I'll be back with more Pal World tomorrow. So if you guys are interested, feel free to drop by. If not, I will see you next time you want to drop by. So until then, enjoy your day. Have a good day. Eat your food. Punch dolphins because they're evil. They've had it too good for too long. The ocean is made of sperm. Random facts. I'm Setsuna Fox, and I'll see you later. Bye.